I don't know, my wife, best friend with Rain, stepdaughter, also good.
Like he asked for raise.
Hey, we've got an echo coming from you guys.
I still get the best to do with both.
I'm sure they do.
John, saying.
Hey, gentlemen, hi, Governor.
Think if you could just show the disabilities, the progression, you gotta do the same amount of thing, just all the way through.
Have a side seat.
So the only thing that you. Whether or not
That's where the chicken and green beans will be served.
Oh,
Yes.
that's your buddy.
Bacon asparagus down this way. Maybe, Ron, maybe we'll do secondary.
With tech services, you want me to?
Don't call me out of camera. No. That's what's not volunteering. Sorry.
That's okay.
Got it. I think Jason building.
June did help.
With this now. General maybe.
Yes.
Okay. No, I do.
I could look for it.
Hey, I'm. Such your friend.
Another problem that would address.
Okay. Everybody gets services,
About.
somebody, how are you? Just to do this from 20 feet away.
Yeah.
It's walks along the pathway and made a little. We haven't seen. That's been there for a while at least, I think.
I've not heard
It's on
about
the- it's on the other side,
But
but they're not real big. They're talking about flocks too, you know.
they want us to have.
Yeah, so wait, and that's the side track.
Well, I don't know, it looks like it's.
And then they know it's long enough, but theoretically.
Oh, that's probably like 200 pounds
Yeah.
of limestone.
Not that big. So there are lots of blocks on the end of the.
I don't know, I need some. Nice. The things all.
Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. I cannot see you. You may have to restart your video. Oh,
How about now?
yep. Yes, that did help.
That too. No.
Even better. Yes, and no.
I'm just gonna start building stuff on my neighbor's property. 6 more land trust.
Not high one.
Hello. Our board meeting. Well,
Yeah. It is a process, I would imagine.
We'll get caught.
Yeah, given that they started around in the back page or something, what chairs you hang your purse.
Yes.
I already broke one of those clipboards at that
Spend half your
8 days.
Where-
Broke it.
I actually have.
That they broke the light, stole the light, that's just that.
Okay.
The Donna, like, I will be. We just.
Well, that is
Ellie, which of these items are you wanting? Yeah, I never did, I heard Tony say, like the person getting locked.
Which items am I sharing?
There you go, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Last time we had.
When the cop put them.
Yeah.
Go out.
On Central Road, not from me.
Lock the shed, get her utility vehicle.
Oh.
It's right.
I did doing that years ago. Probably being I mean, not that they're aggressive.
Babe.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't care. It's fine. I guess.
That is really good.
Oh, that is,
Oh, okay, dog park.
John, you're still working on this, right?
new business,
We're set up, ready to
new business.
And we get, Evelyn had stepped out, she wanted me to start the meeting.
Oh,
yeah,
Whenever
yeah.
We're ready, we will start it.
As far as I know, we are ready.
Jamie, are you ready?
Let me grab a board packet. For Jason from PSC.
I
I
don't see anybody else.
Yes,
You don't see Molly from legal on, do you? On Zoom?
I do not see Molly. I see Penny. I didn't know if she needed to be a panelist or not.
Oh, yes, please.
Okay. I do not see Molly from legal, no.
Okay. If he does, but pop her on in.
Come back just in time, just getting ready to call to order. Oh, so you go ahead and do it.
Well, thanks. Call the meeting to order. Thank you. Wow. So amazing. So to celebrate, how about calling the roll call?
Evelyn,
Here.
Joe,
Yep.
Carolyn,
Yes.
Kevin,
Here.
Bill,
Yep.
and Carol.
Of course, we don't have Amy, and I'm assuming everyone knows that she's taken a new job with Purdue. Darn it.
But staying in town.
It's a good thing for her, but our loss.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of any amendments. Don't think I've been apprised of any. Okay, so we'll move on. I also don't feel that we are dealing with compliance issues today, so we'll move on to public comment. See any? Moving on to item 6. Is the minutes from the June meeting. I was concerned about the weight of the packet, so I
Yes.
realized it's 2 months. Okay, let's do it. Pages 1 through 7.
I'll make the motion that we approve the minutes, June 15th, 2022 Parks Board meeting.
Second,
Moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the June 15th, 2022 meeting. Comments or corrections?
on page 2, we had Joe doing double duty. Under 7, he both made a motion and seconded it.
Then Joe,
I like his style.
And when they took the roll call vote, I voted yes and no.
I missed that. Joe talks about how he speeds things along, but that's.
Really?
that's a good thing. There being no other corrections, I assume. Roll call, please, or call the roll.
Yeah, and before we move on, if we don't have any amendments to the agenda, do we still approve or not?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
That's true.
Hey,
I'm-
sorry, could TSD interrupt for a moment?
Yes.
We're having I'm seeing a quality issue on my end that I think I might know what's going on. I was wondering if I could just come down there and see if I could fix it real quick. It's making it hard to see or hear you.
no problem.
We would love for you to come down, Jason.
Yeah, all right,
You gotta
all right,
stay.
I'll be down there in a minute.
Would you like a motion to approve the agenda?
I would.
I just think that.
Thank you.
I'll second it. As
Okay,
Mr. Goss.
To approve the agenda, and I apologize. That's the second time. I missed it in June also.
Oh.
I'll try to put that in bold letters. I assume there are no questions about that. Would you call that roll, please?
Evelyn,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Carolyn,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Phil,
Yes.
and Carol.
Can I approve if I wasn't here?
Well, this is for the agenda, so.
Oh, the agenda. I was thinking the minutes.
Yeah, it's just.
Okay, yeah, I approve.
People typically abstain if they weren't present, but, you know, if you read through them and whatever, I suppose you can approve.
Works. Motion passed, to leave the entire. Now on to item 6, approval of the. Did we have a motion, Jamie, to approve?
Carolyn made a motion and Phil seconded.
Okay. Any other corrections? Other than Phil's eagle eye? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Joe,
Yes.
Carolyn,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Phil,
Yes.
and then did we decide that we were Carolyn's abstaining?
Apparently I can say yes if I.
All right, Evelyn.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna disconnect briefly. It might reconnect on its own, but. If it reconnects automatically, all right,
Thank you.
how does this look?
You look great, Jason.
AJ, unmute. You,
Yeah, much better, looking good.
yep. All right, sweet.
Thank you, Jason. Moving on to item 7, approval of the June and July non-reverting claims, pages 8 through 11.
One of the invoice, Draper, is that because it's paid out of 2 different accounts or something?
Correct.
So I had a question about the credit from Amazon, for $45.99. That is different from the first entry of $42.99,
What page are you on?
9 now.
8 and 9.
Yeah, we had one of the employees return an item that was similar in cost to another item that was on back order, but they charged us for that we never received. So there's two separate things, but they were just returns basically. To Amazon.
I had a question about peppermint spray for tick control, but I'll take that up after we meet. Pretty exciting news. Any other questions or observations about the non-reverting claims?
What, item, 1 to 5th item, I know what fishing waders are. Tell me what solar beads are.
I got no idea. That's not me.
They were little color changing beads that Autumn had purchased for a Cars Day Camp craft. They change color in the sunlight.
It's an arts and crafts project for day camp.
So how do the fishing waders and the solar beads go together?
I thought I just ordered.
They were just on the same order.
Okay. Okay. All right.
It's a good idea.
The craft was to decorate the fishing waders for the
I guess, that's what I'm saying. I make a motion to approve the non-reverting claim for June 2022.
I'll second it.
Sorry.
Actually, it was June and July. Was it not? Yes. Yes. Has everybody? So it is. Are you including July also?
It didn't say that. It said something kind of, yeah,
I'm looking at the agenda, which says,
yeah, no, but the actual list here only says June.
The next thing.
The title, yeah.
can we have a motion and a second to approve the,
Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry. You're on page 10 and 11 now.
yes,
Okay.
8, 9, 10, and 11.
Okay, then I'll make a motion to approve June and July 2022.
And I second that motion.
thank you. Moved and seconded. Any questions about all 4 pages or 5, however many there are? I was struck by how. So Kelly does, or John, somebody does, Beth provide an accounting of, or a report after day camp to show
Oh.
where we came out.
She is going to do that after all her bills come in this year.
I was just struck by all the expenses because I'm looking at 2 months at a time.
Yes, and children require a lot of.
And I saw. Okay,
Yes.
any other comments or observations? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Carolyn,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Phil,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Evelyn,
Yes.
and Joe.
Yes.
Pages 12, motion passes. Pages 12 to 15, credit card charges.
Given that there's not an amount in the Indianapolis Zoo trip, was that canceled? On page 12. 1, 2, 3,
615.
Oh, sorry.
no.
The trip was not
No,
canceled.
it wasn't. I'm trying to find it in the.
We can grab that. I think what happens, they hold the card and then they count the kids, and she might not have put that number in. That's here, I can go get her. She'll probably have that number in her head. Would you like me to go round her up?
We probably need to have it before we can approve.
Yeah.
I've got a question about pool passes on pages 12 and 13.
And that should be here shortly. Besides, I know their pool passes and they charge us.
I couldn't hear you.
They charge us for their pool passes, but if you have Beth will get it if you have a more questions than that.
Oh, do we pay the
City of Limestone.
same rate? No. Is there a volume discount
No.
or anything? Okay,
Because everyone who visits the pool is a day camp in the summer almost.
they are.
Almost every camp, daycare is at the pool.
Okay.
Uh,
Not a lot of just
folk.
folk.
Individual kids going.
No, they're always,
Might not be the time.
Beth, they have questions.
No, I-
382. Sorry, what? 382, they just billed us a couple days ago because they didn't bill us until whenever I reserve the tickets, I always tell them that number can happen weeks in advance, and that number can shift a little bit.
This is Indianapolis Zoo.
Indianapolis Zoo. You never know how many kids are gonna show up that day or whatever. So I order the amount of tickets, we'll get there that day, and then I have 2 weeks to return the unused tickets, and then they bill us. So which worked out well for us. That way we don't have to pay for tickets when I use them.
And they have pool pass questions.
Oh, okay.
Well, my question, I think what made me have a question is the amount is exactly the same twice here.
It is.
Now, what's the difference or what is it?
We buy economy punch passes and they're non-refundable and they don't carry over to the next year. So what I do is I buy a chunk at one time, use them up, buy another chunk, and then buy another chunk so that I can get really close at the end to the exact amount I'm going to use. I used to buy them all at the beginning. They wanted you to buy as many as you thought you were going to use, but that's hard to predict because you don't know the weather.
Yeah.
There's weather cancellations. And again, the amount of kids fluctuate. So
So these punch passes save money from individual passes.
yes,
There is a discount.
Okay, and how much less expensive is it to do it?
probably not much, maybe cents to $1.
Okay.
That adds up.
It,
Yeah, it's, I
It does.
appreciate your, doing it this way. to
Yeah.
save expenses.
So if you have passes left over, can you use it next year?
no, they don't
Just
carry
get
over.
it.
Yep, yep.
So you
Yep.
really work to get it.
Yes. In fact, the last charge I made was $728, which is the day before camp ended. That was just like all I needed for the very last day. So I got really close.
So, Kelly said that through you have all your bills and you'll give us a full accounting.
Yeah, the only bill I'm waiting for is the final fuel bill in July for the bus, because I know you're wanting to compare the rural transit expenses versus what it cost us to use that bus, the mini bus.
Right.
So I had to figure in, I mean, obviously the bus didn't cost us anything, but I had to figure in the fuel cost and the Go Express that I had to reserve. And then also I had to have extra staff to drive the bus because we have to, it's a complicated kind of situation about staffing when you have, I had 3 drivers and 1 extra staff person on the bus. So that's four staff people in transit. And then you have a group, the first group you took, you have to have 2 counselors with, and the group that's lagging behind, you have to have 2 counselors. So that's 8 counselors, whereas I maybe would have 6 or 7 during that time. So there is basically an extra staff person. So then I looked roughly what I can guess the amount that I spent having this bus and shuttling the kids ourselves in 2 trips versus having rural transit. It's going to be super close to what we spent with rural transit. Oh, it's very close, even with the Go Express.
Okay.
Yeah. And the added benefit is I had an extra counselor that when they weren't driving, that's just an extra set of eyes and ears that I could use when they weren't driving. If that makes sense. Okay.
Well, I think the concern was that it was going to be a lot more money.
It's not.
And it's not. No. Do you have a crystal ball? Sounds like you need one.
I do. I've done this a few years. It's easy to kind of predict what.
All right.
So, when you do the breakdown for us,
Hmm.
whatever next month.
Sure.
Break it down as much as you can. I think it'd be interesting to see, transportation
Sure.
is one line.
Yep.
Food passes.
Yep.
Various things.
Yep.
like that.
Yep. I already have it all done except for the one bill one.
did a great job there.
Thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
thanks very much.
Thanks for the info.
You're welcome.
So John, do you have good an answer to why you're buying so many dog bags, dog waste bags?
It's a shorter answer. Yeah, there's a lot of people using the waste bags.
And it's not at all the dog park, it goes to all the parks.
Flatwoods and Detmer also
Yeah.
have bag receptacles.
Just out of curiosity, is there any evidence that people are like grabbing box worth of bags?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Kevin. In the parks, we do the single serve side. You have to pull them out one at a time. If you could do that, if
Yeah.
you want 100 times. The roll bags go in the dog park because those groups of individuals do not do this.
Okay.
They take one bag. And so they get different types of products.
That keeps good people honest.
So yeah, the dog park people are really good. And the other ones, we make them work at it.
Things you learn in these meetings, it's just amazing.
I mean, the good thing is they probably are used as dog bags, so even if they're used outside the park for that purpose, it's a good thing, but we don't want to subsidize that.
I will admit that I always take two because the dog always.
You don't know.
Get it twice, but I would never take more than that.
And John, you probably don't order more than quite once every 2
No,
years.
it's actually, it's usually,
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
it has been once a year. And the only reason that there's two on here is because Andy had told me how many to order and I just didn't order as many as what he had originally said. So I had to order more sooner than normal.
It's not like,
But it's not like we unexpectedly are using a ton more waste bags, so I had to buy more than it's for.
it wouldn't have caught my attention if there had been two. Was there something over here?
Yeah, folding chairs for commons. How many folding chairs do you get?
32.
Is that
Good.
sufficient?
Yeah, that's so now that makes it 64 total that we got in there new.
So we replaced all of the old ones and John is going to use them for special events, old ones. The new ones are really nice. They hold up to 250 pounds, Jim.
Oh, I thought it was more.
Oh, maybe 300. It
Yeah.
could be 300 pounds. They're folding, they have nice carts. They should last another couple decades.
Cars are nice, that way we don't have a huge pile that we can't sweep underneath without
The other-
moving 64 chairs.
The other chairs could be 25 years old,
They've been here as long as I have.
maybe.
How are the tables?
Oh, you could drive a truck on our tables. They are made in, I think, Georgia. They're aluminum. They'll last everyone's lifetime.
Yeah, they're both very good.
Oh, yeah, we purposely bought these types of tables because they're lightweight and literally a bomb would have to go off to destroy them. So tables are great forever.
Good deal.
I'll make motion to approve the credit card charges June, July 2022.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded to approve June and July credit card charges. Are there any other questions or observations? Hearing none, Jamie?
Kevin,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Evelyn,
Yes,
Joe,
Yes.
and Carolyn.
Yes,
motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to old business, I did read all of this assignment. Read all of this stuff. So who's talking about old business A?
On page 16 and 17, Jamie actually has updated copies that does not have Amy's name on it or any extra spaces. Department of Natural Resources requires for each master plan that the park board agree with and sign both of these pages. And then the one page where it says assurance of accessibility compliance with these 3 federal laws, these are just summaries. I'm sure they're hundreds of pages long if you choose to read them. The county takes ADA accessibility issues very seriously. I do not believe that we have any problems with complying with any of these federal laws.
Any questions about pages 16 through 24?
Are do we need to adopt these separately or together? Is the assurance of accessibility compliance a part of the master plan acceptance? Okay,
No, if you want to do them separately, you can.
then we should probably do them separately. Well, I'll move to approve the master plan acceptance resolution. Page 16.
I'll second that.
Well, if I'm correct, as you did take off the signature.
Yes, and there's some extra
Never
space.
mind.
Jamie has the copy signed.
Moved and seconded to approve the master plan acceptance resolution. Okay, that has nothing to do with the acts. All right. Questions about the resolution or this motion? Hearing none, Jamie?
Bill,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Evelyn,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Carolyn,
Yes.
Kevin.
Yes.
Motion passes. Then there is the assurance of accessibility compliance.
Correct. We'll need a motion to approve this also.
I move that we accept the assurance and accessibility compliance with the mentioned laws on page 17, federal laws on page 17. Yes.
Second.
Thank you. Moved and seconded to approve the assurance of accessibility compliance with the 3 federal laws. That's listed on page 17. Any questions or comments about any one of the 3? Hearing none. Jamie?
Carol,
Yes.
Evelyn,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Carolyn,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Evelyn, do you want Jamie to start sending these around for signatures so we don't lose you all? We'll be sending them to DNR tomorrow.
Moving on to old business, item B, the order for cantilevers. That would be,
The last few meetings I've been talking to you about purchasing cantilevers, which they are umbrellas. We find that shade is very important to our park patrons. And to plant a tree will take 20 years for shade to occur. And it's
It does.
not that we're not planting trees, we are planting trees. But with the commons, we have cut trees down because they're interfering with our sidewalks in the commons patio. And we would really enjoy shade there, day camps there. 3 of the cantilevers will go there, they're 10 by 10s. Park staff will install them. One of the cantilevers will go at the Cars Farm Park, Cars Farm Greenway Trailhead. Which is, there is a map that John can show you where that goes to. That's part of the Duke grant. And I believe this is a very good purchase for us. It will last a very long time. We can take the, what do you call it, the canopies down every winter. So they can last a very long time. This company has been in business for decades. You know, knock on wood, we'll be able to get others, you know, if something would happen to the umbrella park, we could buy a new one, but these should last a long time. We have them at the splash pad and we're doing one.
They're the best shade tarps that we've had for a long time. We've had several different styles and they're the only ones that you can take up and put down within a matter of minutes and not cut through a million zip ties or then put the zip ties up and then have to cut all the tag ends off of them, replace zip ties once they start breaking halfway through the year. And like, so for the ones at the splash pad, for example, during the fair, you know, they have the fireworks there. Well, they shoot the fireworks off on the other side of the fence about 100 yards away from the splash pad. So we got to take all our tarps down out there. And if we did that with the zip tie ones, like we had been using, it literally would take somebody all day where somebody can go out, 20 or 30 minutes to have all four of them back up. And they are built to last.
I've got a question. Now, what sector is represented? What you're getting?
Unfortunately, these are none of these.
Yeah, because I didn't think any of.
No, this has to do with the warranty in the terms of the sale. These are not, ours look like,
So they're literally just squares and the post comes up at the one end and kind of curves out and holds the shade up away from the post. They're really easy to work.
it's a nice design.
They've got a cable going all the way through them. You hook up on 3 posts and then the fourth, I get beam up there has got a big socket wrench thing on it that when you turn that, it takes a little hook and tightens that cable. So you literally just use a ratchet and a socket to tighten that cable. Tightens them down. And to loosen them back up, same thing, just loosen them up, pop it off the end. You know, they're great.
Couple questions. Do you know what sort of wind speed or something like that these are sustainable or?
I mean, so that's the other thing. Our old shade tarps that we were using were more like a regular plastic tarp that had a grommet in it.
Yeah,
And these, the steel cable is inside a sewed ham.
okay.
And so they're literally made to last way better than.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't need to take them.
So we
down.
wouldn't be, if there was a big storm coming through, you wouldn't take them all
And
down.
and unless it was like remnants of some hurricane that was blowing up here and had kind of 100-mile-an-hour winds, I would.
And then, are these, how long are these left up? Is it just for the summer?
Yeah, that's what we've been doing. The ones out back, once the splash pads close, we leave them up for a couple more months. I think last year we went, I want to say we took them down around October or November and then put them up. And it was kind of late this year, but I think we put them up right before the fair.
But the bases remain.
Yeah.
You-
Yeah, yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, obviously, they'll last longer if they're exposed to less sun. So, yeah, it's good that you take them up.
It's a really good sturdy product, and people really need shade. I mean, I can't emphasize.
The
shade.
guys that installed the ones out of the splash pad have been putting these in everywhere and said that like, the 60 by 60 is one size, but they're literally doing like covers for entire playgrounds out of these things, just using the biggest ones they can get and just putting in tons of them. So,
And these posts are all concrete. and stuff. Very good.
What colors?
any color, you can get all sorts of colors.
We haven't even chosen the colors yet.
I'm not the color guy, somebody else can pick them
And the
colors.
reason why is that I piggyback everything on other orders. Flatwoods Park is getting a new playground. With that new playground, they're going to get 4 cantilevers. They'll probably deliver these 4 and those 4 together, so we have one shipping cost. So I try to make sure everything's on one truck when we ship. So I don't know the colors yet, haven't picked them out yet.
So, this company is in Minnesota. Do we have an issue with, or maybe I've just forgotten it, the discussion, an issue with, bids?
Anything this is also Source, it's called Sourcewell out of Minnesota, has nothing to do with this project. And I'm not sure, Molly, you're familiar with Sourcewell, correct? Anywho.
Please read it.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, we're talking about
Yeah.
a purchase of $25,000, but we also buy this through Sourcewell. I believe
Mhm.
you are familiar with Sourcewell, is that correct?
Is it the contract that we approved where we like got a membership to get a discount? Is it that one?
I always from Richard.
It's similar, but it's the
Okay.
one, it's, the highway also use Sourcewell too, I believe.
Okay,
Anyway, it is under $50,000, so there's no problem with the bid or the quote situation. Plus, it's gone through this company called Sourcewell, which it does all the Indiana bidding for us. And I know Molly's familiar with it, but may not be at her fingertips. So everything's very comfortable.
Okay, all right.
Kind of like shopping on Kayak, right? you get the best prices.
Yes, and they already do it, and Margie approved all this before she left.
Okay. Just notice there are no other bids, just checking in.
Oh, no, we would like to match everything we had, so we can, if we have to take one canopy to another canopy, everything matches perfectly.
Okay. Um, I also noticed here and on page 27, on pricing, it says that delivery and handling is not included in this quote. This quote, top of the sale, top of the page.
What's page 27? That's not true.
It shows it on. the
It shows it on page 25.
Yep, $3,130.
Great, it does say great, okay.
Now I will be negotiating with them to see if we can get everything on the same truck. And then we'll have lower rates for the Flatwood project and for this project. But if this was a standalone project and we weren't doing Flatwoods project, this was what it would be. So I hope they'll fill a truck, the playground.
Just out of curiosity, where does stuff get dropped off? When you get stuff like that in?
This will be at
Maintenance
Cars
shop.
Farm Park. Everything we get almost goes to Cars Farm Park.
But you said you were hoping to get both orders, Karst Farm and Flatwood.
Correct, it still will go to Cars Farm Park on one truck.
And then they have to be moved then to Flatwoods?
Yes, and they're just the umbrellas.
Yeah, those
What's the umbrellas?
those are
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
I know. We'll talk about the playground.
All right. Any other questions? Maybe better than mine.
And if you notice on page 25 at the bottom, I proposed 20,818 from non-reverting 1178 equipment, and 4,000 from non-reverting 1179 equipment. And 1178, almost all that money that comes in there are shelter rentals. So this is actually going to go back to Karst Commons, which is a shelter. So we find it appropriate to take money out of that account. And Andy has been working real hard to renovate the commons area. So this will be part of that area. She'll be taking down the big flower bed, putting 2 of these umbrellas there. And then when we took out a tree, one of the umbrellas will go there. We put a new roof on, new siding on. John's going to work on new signage inside. So, and we also have new grass area for a tent if you're having a wedding or a family.
That building
dinner.
really nice.
Yeah, so this whole area is going to be, by the end of the year or so, will be really nicely renovated. I think people will appreciate it. It's around 30 years old, everything. So this is like the facelift that's needed.
Other questions? Do we have a motion? Amy, do we have a motion?
Not yet.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we, back to 25 here, that we approve the purchase of 4 cantilevers for the price of $24,618.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Should we indicate the company from which we're
Oh,
purchasing?
from
Landscape.
Landscape Structures.
Moved and seconded to approve the purchase from Landscape Structures of 4 cantilevers for $24,818. Additional thoughts or questions? Hearing none. Jamie?
Evelyn,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Carolyn,
Yes.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Bill
Yes.
and Carol.
Yes. Motion passes. Item C, an update on Karst Farm Greenway.
As you probably know, that we have a grant, Next Level Trails Grant, that has expanded the Cart Farm Greenway from the Loach Road Trailhead parking lot to Ellisville. We only have 0.6 miles left, and we have to also cross a railroad. If the railroad gets completed with the signals up, the trail might or may be open mid-October. And you'll be able to go 7.2 miles from Cars Farm Park all the way to the town of Ellisville. So
They're getting close.
Is it all done except for the railroad crossing?
in 0.6 of the miles, we're, there's just a little, they have to do a little bridge work and asphalt work.
Asphalt's the major thing that's holding us up now, that the crossing on the railroad guard, they've started working on the parking lot and got some of that done. They've also got part of the rail line asphalted, but then even part of from Loach Road towards the bridge, they've got part of that asphalted now too. So there's just a couple small things to finish up and then wait on the railroad.
Is the bridge structure done?
Yeah, there might be a couple things to like tie onto it, and they got some fence still to put in around it, but the bridge is set, the concrete's poured on it and everything, so it's crossable, I bet, on top of it.
Okay.
But that part of the trail is closed to all public until it's completely open and the railroad is operational. to Walk across.
And the, is it the railroad that's gonna decide when that work starts, or is that already in motion?
They're
It's
waiting
all-
on the parts.
It's already in motion.
Okay, so we just don't know when they're going to commence.
They're waiting on the arms.
Yeah.
They've already done all the work for like raising the track
Okay.
and building everything. They're
So it's
literally
just the
just
arms,
waiting
literally the arms, okay.
And we cannot open
until it's all right.
until everything is done.
So it'll be similar, will it be similar looking to Gifford Road?
I'm not sure. Well, so
Oh.
that is just the
no.
lights for the road crossing, and then for the actual railroad crossing there, it's those red gates that we put in. This is actually gonna have arms for the railroad crossing itself.
It's very nice. It'll look very nice.
And this is great news, is not everybody may realize how much effort it's taken to get the railroad crossing part of this project approved and almost done. That was a concern that we wouldn't get that done this year and maybe not ever get it done. So
This whole project has been one thing after another.
it's been a lot of challenges. And I greatly appreciate the efforts gone to meeting those challenges. I do want to remind Kelly and staff that we should plan for a ribbon cutting like we've done before when it does open.
Well, what we,
So we get a lot of publicity for it.
well, what we've been planning, we aren't gonna plan a date until we're for sure the railroad's going to complete. It'll probably be October, November, probably after the elections. And we've already have something planned, and we'll start at Cars Farm Park with our bus that we have in our, we can shuttle people, because we also have the Duke Foundation Energy Grant that they're going to be invited to ribbon cut all at the same time.
And I assume that we're going to be inviting representatives of DNR to come.
Yes, you never know. You never know. If the governor's down here, you'll come too. You never know. It's not a football weekend, but I don't know if he's interested. But he does show up sometimes, so we'll tell him, and if he has time in his schedule, he might tootle down to Bloomington.
And then I guess the one other constituency or whatever that I think we ought to make sure are formally invited is Representative of Ellisville, since this is
Oh, yes.
the link to Ellisville that we've been.
And it probably will be a Tuesday or a Thursday around noon.
Okay.
Just side cut. Wednesdays are commissioners' days. Those are bad days.
It's a what?
Wednesdays are bad days for county government because the commissioners
Oh,
is on Wednesdays. So yes, we're already planning something, but we don't want to say a date until we're sure it's open. So that was it. Any more questions? We're excited.
Well, you should be, because I'm just a little bit familiar, as people who've been on the board a long time are working with railroads, so that's good information.
They came in a week and had their changes. They literally took all the old railroad ties, had new ballast. You couldn't even get through Loesch Road to Woodyard because they had the entire roadway, probably 6 or 8 triaxle loads of railroad ballast just laying in the road. I mean, it was insane, but within 4 or 5 days, they had that whole thing changed out. They did all the work that they could down at Rogers Group and then just shuttled everything down the railroad track, Rogers Group, and laid it down in place. It was insane.
So
Penny Giffen says she appreciates us scheduling on a Wednesday.
we don't do anything on Wednesday. And Andy's been going to all the engineer construction meetings and he's been quite a help. So
It's been an interesting process to say the least.
and Andy Canoes from Butts over here, Cooper James have been.
Been a huge help. And
Tremendous
honestly,
asset.
we have to thank EMB too, because they've worked with us on every little issue there's been there. They've been over backwards to try to make it happen, so
Well, they've done a really good job.
they really have.
Yeah, nice looking,
They really
very nice looking.
Any other questions?
That's a fantastic update.
Oh,
Thank you. Moving on to item D under old business.
Is that the fence?
okay. We were talking about the playground at Flatwoods Park and what to do and how to get it there and all that stuff. And Andy has come up with, I believe, a very good solution.
We talked about either doing fencing over there or maybe some sort of like shipping containers. And I think for ease of our access, fencing is gonna be the way to go. That way we can get in and move stuff around with our skid steer, not have to worry about sidewalls and ceiling. And so I talked to Natalie, I believe her name was Natalie Belger. They do the fencing for the fairgrounds. That's how I found her. During the week of the fair, they set up all it's just your stand-up fence panels. And got a quote from her for $1,730 to set up. I don't know what size was it, I can't even remember. It was 260 linear feet of fence. I want to say it was like 60 by 80, I can't quite remember. It doesn't say the dimensions in there, but next to our maintenance building, and that would be plenty enough to store all of our playground equipment for $1,730, and that would be for 6 months, just in case we get it October, November, December. I can't remember exactly.
5 months.
Yeah, November to April. That was their thing. You couldn't, if you got to 6 months, it jacked the price of the fence up a whole lot. So we tried to stay under that 6 months, and then I forgot my paper out of my truck in my bag, but I kind of did like a base count of what it would cost us to move all of that equipment over to Flatwoods, and at the very bare minimum, like if everything went all right and it only took like 15 minutes to load and tie down a trailer, which is not really how long it's going to take, we were spending the same amount in fuel and man hours doing that, taking everything from cars over there as we would just having it delivered to Flatwoods and setting up things.
Where at Cars would you keep this?
And that's the other thing, not only would we be using all of like 2 to 3 of our guys for a couple days, moving all the stuff over there, then for 5 or 6 months, I gotta have all that playground equipment once again in our brand new extension that we just had doors put on, which I've since filled with equipment and vehicles.
Well, I guess my question really is, this sounds like a really good deal. However, it's not very secure. I mean, about anybody could get in that fence in the nighttime and all stuff be gone next day.
The thing is though, it's attached to pallets. It's not like it's just like loose laying around, like everything's saran wrapped, and bubble wrapped. I mean, I didn't get any pictures of what it came, how it looked when it came to the last playground, but I mean, it was just sitting in an open bay of our shop for like a year there when catalytic converters were getting stolen from the vehicles that was parked right next to the playground equipment. Nobody messed with the playground equipment there, so.
Just a general question, how does the county's insurance work on something like that?
We just report it to our insurance gal and she puts it on. She puts it on the list.
Well, no, I mean, what's the deductible? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, deductibles, usually, I think, Molly, is it $10,000?
She's muted.
Anywho, I think it's around
Per
$10,000
incident or?
per incident, I thought, unless it's changed, that comes and goes.
I don't know off the top of my head, but I can check and let you know tomorrow.
Oh, yes.
Entrance.
Would it be beneficial to get a little security camera and put on the building overlooking the area?
There's no electric.
But we can put trail
I
cameras
think
out.
honestly, we've got a big camera hanging up on that.
But we can put trail cameras out, which is no, big deal.
That,
That's after.
yeah, they're cheap. I mean,
Put a
it'd
big
be worth
sign.
having some additional monitoring going on, even if it's to catch somebody after the fact.
Because if we did put it at Cars Farm Park, most likely it would be outside. Because the commissioners are expecting us to start parking our vehicles in the winter inside the new doors and everything, and to also have the salt hopper and everything underneath the roof with the doors locked, so not a lot of room.
I mean, it is, you're totally correct. It is one of those things where somebody could hop in that fence, but and do whatever they wanted, but realistically,
Who would hop in a fence where you can't get out quickly?
yeah, and nobody even really is gonna be able to tell
Well,
what it is, either it's all wrapped up, you can't hardly even see
It
it.
is red.
And there isn't much use for resale for playground equipment, whereas there really is for catalytic converters.
Yeah.
Now, we would also have to rent another skid steer to keep it out at Flatwoods and one at Cars, because if not, you'd have to trailer our skid steer.
That's a
To
big,
unload
that's a
it.
big thing. Unless
maybe next year.
Yeah,
if we're
we
doing it, because we
did
don't
that.
have anything there that's big enough to unload. So,
It would be an operation probably at least a week with at
And-
least
the bags
3 or
of
4 sales.
super sacks, they call them, of the loose crumb rubber. Those are about as tall as I am. And this wide, it's 2,000 pounds per skid. When they send you those in a semi and they're stacked just about all the way to the front of the semi, there's inevitably about 3 of them that you can't even get out of the semi without restacking on a skid, and that's straight from the factory. One time we had one come from Washington State. She'd sent from the place to Washington State, they canceled the playground. We got it back here to use for our playground, but we weren't at work when the delivery driver came. So it literally drove from Chicago to Washington State to Bloomington, back to Chicago, and then back to Bloomington in a semi. And when that one came, half that semi, half the bags weren't standing up, so you literally got to go through. It took us 3 hours to unload that semi. And that's not something that I'd like to necessarily repeat anytime in the near future.
That raises opportunity for security if that fenced area, if we are the ones packing or supervising the placement of items within that fenced area, seems to me we would want to put the items that are not an attractive nuisance around the edge
Yeah.
of the fence, like that rubberized flooring material, to both hide the other objects, but also just to give no incentive to go in there, because what are they gonna do with something like that? So, yeah, you could pack it in a way that'll make it less attractive.
In Belcher Fencing, they're one of the number one customers is Indiana University, so they're well known, they're a local company.
A good company. I don't have a question about that. Temporary fencing, when you see temporary fencing, you know it off the bat, it's not very scary. I mean, you got these posts on stands with sandbags over the fence.
She's actually talking that they're gonna secure it with T-posts instead of sandbags. That was her thinking, that they'd stake it in with T-posts.
I think she mentioned sandbags.
Yeah, that was one of the things she mentioned, sandbags and T-posts, but when she came out and looked at the site and she was talking to me, she said that they probably just use T-posts out there. They use sandbags in places where there's tons of underground utilities, that way they're not jacking into the ground, but right where that is next to the maintenance shed, the only thing we got is water. That's all I want.
I think you're fine. It's good, it's a good price.
Yeah, it really was a good price.
And the Geo Bond 4814 will be paying for that. So not the report.
I think realistically, people do bad things sometimes, but I think we'll probably get away without having any playground equipment out there.
But then we do what Kevin suggests.
Pack it right.
Yeah. So I make a motion we approve the quote from Belcher Fencing for playground storage, Flatwood Park.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded to approve the bid of the price of $1,730 for Belcher fencing. This has been a very productive. I also had the same reaction as Joe. That doesn't sound very secure, so I really appreciate everything that's been discussed here because I feel better now. And I like Kevin's idea. Are there any other questions or comments about this? Amy?
Joe,
Oh, yeah.
Carolyn,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Carol,
Yeah,
and Evelyn.
Yes. Moving on. Moving on, new business. We're speaking to quotes for
Yeah.
quotes. Who's speaking to quotes?
John, did you have it up for Molly? Okay. Probably maybe recall it. Wow, December 8th of 2020, Bledsoe, Rigger, Cooper, and James were hired to engineer these ADA 9 items on this page. They have been working very hard, and they've been working with the planning department to get everything cleared and passed. They even got a landscaping variance for us that's in your packet. So we're moving along.
Well,
This-
sorry, they did, what was the last?
Oh, and their
Just the last 6 words.
Under correspondence, you have a variance that was a landscaping variance that was passed with First Farm Park. And that's part of this project. Okay. And the commissioners, this is in a bond. And especially the county council, once this gets engineered and everything past planning, then we will be shovel ready for projects. That's what this is. We have projects 6 and 9 shovel ready to go. So I'm going to be asking you if you would like to do these projects with the money that I have obtained and the money that you all will have to pay from now reverting to make these items happen. Number 6 is the dog park. I don't know if you recall that we've discussed it a couple times. The dog park from day one has had a water problem by the drinking fountain, which means we have standing water. I don't even, it's, gee whiz. 8 inches to a foot sometimes, and it sets for a very, very long time. Obviously, standing water in a dog park is not healthy. Sure, Dr. Carolyn can attest to that. And plus, it's not good for ADA, and that's why it was included on this list. What we needed to do is move the drinking fountains, re-pour some concrete, put drains around the concrete area because those are where the dog pools go. We have dog pools. And when the water gets dumped out, which we encourage them to do often, then the water will not set. It will go up to the drain and out toward the ditch.
No, they're hooking it into
Oh, they're gonna hook it up to the sewer.
sewer.
Hook it right up to the sewer. So that is why the dog park has been in use for since, I guess, 2010.
Then we'll not put
Maybe
someone around
2010.
there.
So, and number 9 is the Cars Farm Greenway Trailhead at Cars Farm Park. This will be a nice area by field 9, and you have a map, I believe, John. If you all look in your second page, you can see where project 6, the dog park, and project 9, which is the trailhead. And the trailhead is a bulletin board, a bench, a picnic table, a cantilever, a bike workstation, a drinking fountain. I'm missing,
I think that's everything.
that's everything. Which also the athletic users will be able to use for shade, reading a book. I mean, it's just not for the trail users. It'll be a nice area by the pond. The Duke Energy Foundation is paying for a chunk of this. We believe this will be used and also part of the ADA, not in this project, we'll put ADA parking very close to the trailhead. So if you have any mobility problems.
Can I make a suggestion?
uh-huh.
I believe one area that we've been somewhat deficient in with our trails is illustrated maps to show people the entire route and information on it as to resources on the route or destinations like the YMCA or certain schools and stuff like that. But I would like to see at this trailhead and at a trailhead at the other end in Ellettsville, a complete map of the trail with all the distances and
And that is on our list. Unfortunately, GIS at the surveyor's office the person quit. They just rehired someone. So once they get everything situated, we're on their list to start making that map. They've made the maps for the Limestone Greenway. They said they would make the maps for the Cars Farm Greenway, but we're in line.
I haven't looked for a while at the map for the Limestone Greenway. It has not in the past been a very impressive map to me, I think.
It just was
Even better.
replaced.
Was it replaced recently?
Yeah, in the last
Yeah, I
30.
don't know how long it's been since you've been there.
Yeah, it's a good map. It's a better map. And yes, and the GIS, county GIS person said they will help us, and every bulletin board that we have will have, you are here. Here's where you can go. Here's what you can do. Here's the restroom. So yes, that is a high priority is maps.
Ellie, where does the water come from? That's,
Oh, excellent. It's only about, would you say 30 feet away?
For the trailhead,
Yes.
yeah, right on the west side of the trail.
So they
Right,
just
right
have,
across trail,
yeah.
they'll just, there's a frost plug, like a ground spigot right there, they'll just pour underneath the trail, I think. And or cut the trail up either way and then patch into the existing water line, pop it up right where water line is, it's literally 30 feet away.
that's not what I meant. Oh, it's you meant from the standing water.
yeah, where's that standing
Oh,
water?
from the dog pool. that
Oh, well,
everybody-
not, yes and yes, yes and no. One, the dog pools, two, the spring rains.
Okay.
And it's the bad design. You just need to correct it. Okay. That's, I don't know what else to say. There's nowhere for the water to go.
So you got quotes
Oh,
here.
there we go.
Yeah, here.
Yep. What?
Why don't we have other quotes?
Nobody else.
Oh.
called it.
Hang on. Okay, Indiana code, IC, Molly, are you there? Good, I'm hoping not. Indiana code IC 5-22-8-3 purchases between $50,000 and $150,000. We complied with these that code. We invited Groomer Construction, Stone City Excavating, Stanger Excavating, and Snedeker Construction. The only one who would quote on these projects was Snedeker.
And these quotes in line with what our engineer
Yes.
indicated we should expect.
Yes, Andy Knutz from Bethel Ritter Cooper and James. He has all these engineered, so he gave plans to all of these construction people. They know exactly what they're doing. I asked Andy if these are reasonable quotes. He said yes. You know, something, he's like, well, you know, 1,000 here or there, but no one's standing in line for this project. The dog park has been a project that we have needed for a very long time for ADA issues and for water issues, dog safety issues. So this is $38,500 to complete that project. The trailhead is $28,500 with the specification from an engineer and planning, also is very aware of these projects. If you actually go to page 28A, I do have some sources for funding, not for the whole thing. Bond 4813, I either have 10,000 or 14,000 left. I believe it's going to be $14,000, so I put the high number in. It only varies if we need Bledsoe's to do some things that were not in the scope of their work, but I believe we're okay. Duke Energy Foundation, they can pop in $17,582. First Dog Park has $845. And the county council, last year indicated that $9,600 should go to a project. These are fine projects, I believe, and they're ADA, and they're on the list that the commissioners had on their bond list for the ADA. So when you add everything up, and I'm going to round, the park board would have to pay $24,500 out of their non-reverting to make both of these projects happen. If we can get the Carson Trailhead done by October, that's when we have our ribbon cutting and then off to the, off to the trail. So the Duke Energy Foundation, who gave our foundation $50,000 to put trail amenities in. So this is another about $24,500 would come from non-reverting. Now we have over 200,000 in one account. We have about 35,000 in the other account. And remember, we're going to probably be having $45,000 come in revenue between now and December. So we will even have more cash by the end of the year.
What's Cars Farm Greenway Trailhead? Quote, things they exclude.
What page is that real quick?
Here,
Never.
No, no, at least that's the last page.
This is something I didn't have, all right. Yeah.
yes, Joe.
Anyway, in their quote, it says that the price excludes several things. I assume those are all things you'll want to get,
Those things we've already purchased through the food foundation grant.
all of them.
All of them except you just okayed the umbrella. Yes, they're actually in storage at Cars Farm Park. They are purchased through the Duke money. We will have the foundation to reimburse the Parks Department for those items. So we already have them. They're ready to go. We call it the furniture. And the park staff
Space in the shop.
and the park staff, once Snedeker's done, the park staff takes the furniture and puts it everywhere. Installs the drinking fountain, the benches, everything's surface mounted.
What's the likelihood that they might run into appreciable rock?
Out there, yeah, I mean, when we dug that original water line that frost plug hooked into, it's pretty outrageous, but I think, for a 30-foot span, they could probably get through there fairly easily. If they're only going 4 feet now, I think we'll probably be all right. It wasn't so bad at that end of the water line, up towards Grandview where it hooked in up there. It was awful.
So, yeah, every construction company puts, oh, there is a clause for rock.
Or that's.
Can't imagine why.
Can't imagine why. But these are really good projects. I think they would be used tremendously by both dog park users, athletic users, trail users. People just want to sit somewhere nice with a book under an umbrella.
Been talking about the dog park for a long time.
We have been,
But I think the trail is an amenity that really impacts the parks.
and in our budget, I'm asking the county council for more money for more projects, and probably what will be on the docket next, because Andy Knus has engineered everything, is ADA parking asphalt for the ADA spots at Cars Farm Park to get that knocked out. So that'll probably be our next project next year.
I support the project, definitely. I don't support the fact we only have one quote. I understand you asked 4 people, one of which, there's not a chance in the world they would have ever quoted this. They shouldn't even been asked. And there's 25 people in this county that has excavating equipment that can do this job. So I'm just wondering why did we depend on the engineer to tell us?
Yes, but so, because through the Indiana code, you have to mail everyone a quote, and a bid, not a bid, a quote. And so these were the ones that they suggested for this particular project, since there was, I don't know, maybe water involved.
When are we trying to get these done?
Well, it would be really nice if we can get the trailhead completed in October, so we could, it would all be ready to go for the big grand opening. For the Cars Farm Greenway.
if there are other companies out there, I think even if we accept these proposals, that we should let some know that we hope that next time they look further than the list they gave us, before they gave us. But I guess I could see the value in terms of getting these done, and if these are reasonable prices, going with these proposals for these two items as they were submitted, but in the future, trying to get more than what we got. Would that address your concerns, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, it's good for the future, yeah. I don't have a real big problem supporting the trailhead one. I do have a problem supporting the dog park, but I don't think the dog park needs to be done this fall. That we're just no worse this fall than was last fall, or the fall before, or the fall
Yeah.
before, or the fall before.
But I suspect every year we wait will be more expensive.
Well, my thought is, we could go out on bids on it again and ask the engineer to get a dozen people bidding, not 4.
Oh, yes, we can ask.
And
But I do
certainly,
like the idea of getting the trailhead done before that. Oh,
yeah, I think the trailhead needs to get done.
Yeah,
But we could probably delay the dog park decision for a month and see if we could get an additional bid.
Oh, and that's fine too. And we'll double check, but I don't see anywhere in Senegar's that their quotes are any different if they do both projects together
Right.
or separately. We did ask them.
Andy asked, but I never saw a
We
response
did
back.
ask, but I don't see it in here. So I suspect we could do the trailhead for 28.5 and, and work on the dog park quotes later.
probably a reasonable comment.
And since you're being asked to have that conversation, I would be curious to know why they, or how they came up with that list of 4.
Oh.
Was it track record with them, or availability,
Track
experience, or?
everything, all of that, what you just said, everything, experience,
Other
track
companies that
records.
Said that he's worked with before. but-
And many of the construction companies just are packed. They just have so many jobs that they don't even have to quote anymore. So everyone's busy, which is great. I guess everyone's building and having a good business. But we can ask different ones. If you have a particular construction company you'd like us to have.
Well, when you ask the question that Joe is suggesting, the answer may be, well, we really don't have more names than what we've given you already. That's a fair answer.
Well, there are more construction companies, but
But I think what we do is, let's approve the trailhead because I think we want to do that. Let's make sure that the price stays the same if.
yeah, I'll.
That's a little
surprising,
because the setup
is
the
cost.
If there's an issue with them, significantly higher for the 2 projects or for the projects separately, maybe we can all pop in and approve both of them together, or we could approve together if that's an issue.
I believe there's gonna be standalones, but
yeah, I think if we tell this company that one proposal was accepted at the meeting and when first presented, the other one, the board had additional concerns without going into detail and say that they're not going to decide. They didn't decide at the meeting today. But it's still a viable proposal, and
they may come back.
they may come back next month and approve it. And without saying they're gonna look for additional quotes. I don't know that we owe it to them to tell them that we're gonna look for additional quotes.
No, usually don't.
Is there a motion for the board?
I make the motion that we accept the proposal from Snedegar Construction Inc. To do the work that we have called the Cars Farm Greenway Trailhead for an amount of $28,500.
Moved and seconded. To approve the.
That's one thing I just noticed. It does say that the water line is to be bored, so I wonder if they talk to those 4 people because not every construction company in town can do underground boring. That's pretty specialized. There's only a handful of guys in town that have the equipment necessary to do that, Snyder being one of the main ones. So that's part of the reason. I think it's not-
Is boring required on both projects?
No.
So we could open it up, the other project, the dog park project.
Yes, that would be
Okay.
no problem.
That may be the reason, that would be good.
You know, delaying that one. Maybe somebody may become available, it wasn't available. The other thing is materials right at the moment are beginning to come down. So it could be that not cost.
Oh, yeah, we have no problem with getting additional quotes.
Okay.
Moved and seconded to approve the quote from Snedeker Construction Inc. for $28,500 from the First Farm Greenway Trailhead. Additional questions or comments?
Carolyn,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Carol.
Yes.
Evelyn
Yes.
and Joe.
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving on to pages 29 through 37. Is this information only?
No, this is actually a real retainer agreement.
Oh, okay.
Go to page, oh gosh, is it-
Pages 29 to 37. Oh, I see it is.
go to 29. Yeah, this is Bloomington Seal Coating and Paving. As with Jackson Electric and some other Bluestone, we are doing retainer agreements. I know Margie encouraged us to get retainer agreements on, so we can get things fixed and get on with life. Bloomington Seal Coating Paving, we're asking for an agreement to expire on 12/31/23, not to exceed 30,000. And what this would do would get us, if we need help on the trails or in the parks for this year and next year, we will be able to act quickly and get it taken care of. We do know that we have these problems listed on page
30 is the first one.
where is it? Page 29, and if you notice, I also put what funds they will come from. So these are the situations that we're having with asphalt right now. And we did not know if you'd like to consider a service retainer agreement for Bloomington Steel and Coating and Paving. So then next year, when we have situations, just follow them up, and we know, I mean, already, if you look at the prices now, you know, we're already spending 10, 17, 20 some thousand. So, you know, 10,000 doesn't go a whole lot next year, but at least we can call someone to fix something.
But that, Bloomington Steel Coating Paving, we had going.
Last year, yeah, and so out of the 3 companies that we've used in the past, we've used Arnold, Bloomington Seal Coat, and then
Wimps, wasn't
yeah, and Bloomington Seal Coat, I feel, is the most trustworthy and does a better job. And one of the things that they do that the other ones don't is one, I believe it's their asphalt binder. It's a special asphalt binder that very few of the other people in town actually use because it's more expensive and does a better job. And then dealing with them has been really pretty easy compared to a couple of the other ones, and they do a fantastic job. What we're having out at Karst is just like he said would happen in a couple of those spots where they just took out like an entire section of the road that's just starting to creep out a little bit more. And so there's a couple places like that out at Karst, and then just some small potholes that they take care of there. And then we've got different spots on our trails where we've got some pretty big issues, both on the trails that are open now and the ones that are going to be here in the future.
Can you tell me where this segment is? It's described as the vernal pipe path.
Yeah, so that's from Detmer to the I-69 bridge on the west side, no, on the north side of Vernal Pike there.
Isn't that all pavement? I mean, isn't that all concrete instead of asphalt?
No, it's asphalt.
It's asphalt.
Yeah,
And we've never taken care of.
asphalt with people's mailboxes.
Yeah, I know. I've been out with my bicycle. I know there's a lot of gravel on it.
Yes.
And that's a bit of.
So what we're hoping to do is with this, is that Andy will get all the gravel off, kill all the weeds, have Bloomington Steel come in, get it going, because we suspect by next year, hopefully everything goes well, it'll be connected to the V line. So we want to be ready to go and we don't want,
There's not gonna be a whole lot we can do with gravel. We get it off on.
Well, I know there's some gravel driveways
Driveways,
there.
yeah.
Uphill of it, and
Our main concern is all the cracks along it, and then they're gonna have to fill between the concrete curb and the asphalt. They'll fill that the whole way down. And then where the asphalt meets the I-69 bridge, there's a huge lip there. And then right in front of Detmer, there's 2 manhole covers in the trail as well, and they've got sunk down around that over the years, the asphalt lip. So those 3 places are the big ones that they would have to actually mill some area out, and those and rematch everything to grade. Other than that, it's just filling the, like I said, along the curb, and there's just all the other.
so we want to get it up to par, looking good. Like I said, Andy's going to get the gravel off that is from the snowplows. The snowplows have some of that gravel on the trail. Anyway, we can blow it off.
okay. One of the things while we're talking about that Vernal bike path, from the 69 bridge west, it's pretty steep down there and on a bicycle, you get a lot of speed up. I just wonder if we should have any kind of warning signs about the grade and all that.
I can ask.
I just have, look at it, make a judgment. Because
Oh, no problem.
I know when I go down it, I feel like I'm flying down that hill. I have good brakes, but not everybody does.
Oh, no, that's easy to do.
But yeah, take a look at that. And then because that's where the gravel often is, it makes it particularly dangerous for a bicycle situation to have at the bottom of the hill a bunch of gravel. If you've been on smooth pavement.
No, I totally agree.
Okay, couple small things there I've got a question about. I like the fact that
Yep, I got this.
they're crack filling perimeters and their patches, but this.
Yeah.
With this
Duraflex.
Duraflex hardboard. Question I guess I got along that is some of these quotes are just do crack fill like the second one here. McCarthy Farm Greenway, 4.5 miles of walking path.
Yep.
Crack. What material are they using there?
That's the same rubber.
The reason I ask that is because they kind of make a point, Andy, of saying where they're using Duraflex around the perimeters of patches.
I think it's the same thing. What he called it was, so the tech code is glue. He said it's a rubber filler is what they use for their crack fill. What's it? Yeah, crack fill with,
Well, I think we need to get
I
that.
think you must make sure.
I'm pretty sure it is. I know what it was. I'm pretty sure that is the same thing. For whatever reason, they just didn't list it on that one, but that's what he was telling me. Is a different material than some of the places used.
Well, it is.
Yeah,
That's my point I made. Their normal crack filler is not at all like this with the rubberized thing.
that's what he said.
This is far better.
Yeah.
But it's much more expensive.
And that's what he said as well.
So we need to make sure when they're just doing general crack filling, they're actually using that material.
Oh, and not.
Because if they're just doing it the other way, it's pretty much a waste of money.
I would assume it's.
We'll confirm it's Carol.
Yeah, let's confirm that. Then another, just a comment I made. First one, which is the patching at Carson Park. Cutting at milling in several places. 3 inches deep. He talked about he's gonna lay 3 inches of number 11 asphalt surface back in it. You want him to do that in 2 lifts. Cannot compact 3 inches of number 11 surface. You try to compact it, all you'll get is waves in it. It's too deep for that material. If you put it in 2 inches and then another inch, that's great. But you need to do it in 3 passes.
This is why Joe gets big bucks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I can remember lots of people will try to they'll dig a hole and just fill it with asphalt and then try to roll it. Well, you don't get any compaction down if it's over about that deep. You gotta do it in slips. So the rest of them are just 2 inches. That's when he says 3 inches deep.
We can double check that they.
Just as long as you put it in 2 layers. it's
There.
Any other comments or questions?
They did a really good job last year out there.
Oh,
Yeah.
Really good job.
Very pleased. with-
So what do you want, a motion to,
Oh, for the retainer agreement, not to exceed 30,000, expires 12/31/23. And what we do typical for anything is that you pass it, and then we give the contract to the commissioners to sign. And they usually say,
So
what
the
are the departments?
individual proposals, we don't need to.
No.
approve. Okay,
We're just showing you what we're doing
Okay.
this round, and then, you know, if we have something pop up, we have a retainer agreement, we can take care of it.
I'd make a motion for the retainer agreement, with Blue Seal Coating and Paving. From now through 12/31/23, at the amount not to exceed $30,000.
second. Moved and seconded to approve the quote from Bloomington Seal Coating and Paving in an amount not to exceed $30,000.
it's, this is the retainer agreement,
Yes,
with Bloomington Seal and Coating.
yes,
Seal Coating.
still coding is.
That's not what I said.
Well, you said you did proposals. We're talking about the retainer. agreement.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right, absolutely. I correct myself. Moved and seconded to approve the retainer agreement for services from Bloomington Seal Coating and Paving in an amount not to exceed $30,000. Any other corrections? Anyone else find that I didn't read it correctly? Hearing none, Jamie?
Kevin,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Evelyn,
Yes.
Joe.
Yes.
And Carolyn.
Yes.
Motion passes. Item C is on page 38. Rec desk. Is that you, John?
Yeah, I can't believe we're already right. Wow. So last year, we started using Rec Desk, which is a recreational management software for our facility reservations and program registrations. Since it's a software, we have to resubscribe every year. We've enjoyed using it. I've enjoyed using it. Don't know about the rest of the staff. There was certainly a learning curve, but now that everybody's a little more oriented with it, I think it's good for what we're providing the public. So this is just a re-up on the subscription in order to use it for another year. And I guess it is worth mentioning too that Tech Services last year agreed to pay $4,800 of the total $6,800 for the subscription. They're willing to do that again this year. So thank you, Tech Services, if you're listening. But yeah, we're just looking for motion from the board to approve the subscription again for next year.
And the cost of, this was the same cost as last year.
It is the same cost as last year. The gentleman I spoke with that gave me the quote did point out that from time to time it increases, but no, this is the same price as we paid last year.
In the county council did give us $2,000 to spend on this item.
I will make the motion that we approve the purchase or renewal of the Rec Desk annual subscription for the, I guess, $2,000.
I second it.
Moved and seconded to approve the Rec Desk software renewal for $2,000. Any other questions or comments? Jamie?
Bill,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Evelyn,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Carolyn.
Yeah.
Kevin,
Yes.
Motion passes. Excuse me, I'm freezing to death over here. It is cold. And my head's filling up. Okay. Moving on to page 39. JCL Aerial Services.
This is what we do.
Is that you, John?
Yes. So this is a quote from JCL Aerial Services for what is called park drone tours. I went back and forth on how best to describe what a drone tour is, but since we've got Zoom and the share screen ability, I'm just going to play a quick video of what JCL Aerial Services can provide. So drone tours are relatively new. In the last 4 or 5 years, they've become a lot more prevalent in real estate. So as opposed to like pictures, obviously pictures are still used, but you see a lot more drone footage highlighting real estate sales. It's starting to leak into parks and recreation. So you're starting to see the same sorts of videos created for parks. I should probably share my screen.
Telling you, that's on the computer there.
Okay. So this is an apartment complex, but you can kind of get the same idea. So what it would allow us to do, often we get questions about when Jamie Fields questions are about like park orientation, where certain things are at in the parks, where's the disc golf course, where's shelter, blah, 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 the dog park, so on and so forth. These types of videos, they're flashy, people like to watch them, but it also orients people to the park. And I'll pause right here. These are what they call call outs. So the idea for our park videos and Greenway videos would be that certain features of the park, they can point them out as the video is panning back and forth. And then those call outs can also be linked to other things like our website. And
John, I'm sorry, is it
Yeah.
the language up there you're calling a call out?
yeah, so the text right here and Rose Holman
I
Institute of
Oh, I
Technology is
didn't
right
see
there.
it
So
in mine. Okay, I see it.
pointing
now.
to it. And the idea for a park, for example, would be like you've got a video of a group of shelters. The call out would be highlighting each individual shelter. So it is definitely a promotion and marketing initiative that would come out of our printing and advertisement line. But you are starting to see these for parks and recreation, parks in general in particular, but I think there'll be need for greenways too, because we do get a lot of questions about parking and things like that.
And
So,
would you post all these on the website or?
yeah, so these would be primarily on the website. They could also be posted to Instagram, Facebook, Outer Spatial, which is also a mobile application. And then any opportunity we had to digitally promote could be posted there as well, but primarily the website, yes. And it would be good to be able to direct people that call to the website specifically to these videos so they can see what it is that they're looking for.
But you could, and I'm not Facebook person, but I know how prevalent it is, but yeah. You could post these to.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. And you can actually pin certain posts on Facebook and Instagram to where anytime somebody highlights the Parks Department, that's the first thing that pops up.
I think it'd be great marketing too. I mean, it's just a matter of getting it out there.
Yeah,
So these are posted on the website. Can the call out be a link that zooms into what the call out is?
Yeah, and that would be the goal, is that on a, say you're highlighting a shelter, for example, and somebody says, oh, this is the one I want to rent. If you've got the link to rent underneath the text, they could click it, it would take them to that page.
Is there a reason why Flatwood's not included?
There is, it's because the new playground's going in next year. And
Will it
this-
be when the playground's completed?
that was my thought, is that this is the group that fits what budget we have left for this year. And then if we enjoyed working with this individual, then we would look at working with him on our other parks too.
I'm not anti-tech, but and I guess I could see some of the value in this in terms of people who don't know where things are or might be impressed with the scale of what we've done and all that. And so I look at this list of 4 projects, I just think Karst Farm Park, as expansive it is with all the shelter houses and all the soccer fields, perfect choice. I think of the Karst Farm Greenway, now that we have trailhead at the park and a trailhead that will be in Ellisville and everything in between will be done. And that's, you know, a total of what, 8 miles or whatever. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. The Limestone Greenway, I look at that and think we only got 1.6 miles and we know we want to go further. Do we need to do this now? And then Will Detmer Park is fairly compact. What you see is what you get. It's, you know, there's not a lot of shelter houses. Everything's easily viewed. And my suggestion is, why don't we try the Karst Farm projects and see how much that's used, how popular it is, and then think about doing the other 2 things and maybe Flatwoods later on, if these turn out to be popular item on our website, because it all sounds good, you know, all this software, and there's a lot of things we could be doing, but it adds up. And I'd like to see what the demand's going to be before we commit to doing this for all our parks and trails.
Well, the one thing about the 2 greenways, the Limestone and the Karst Farm, is that on out of spatial, people, if they get on out of spatial and they say, huh, wonder what that trail looks like. All they have to do is click on Limestone and they can basically go on a virtual hike on the Limestone to see if they would like to go on
The
there.
Limestone is, it's not very long and complete. Now, if we were combining our drone video with Bloomington Rail Trail and Clear Creek, it might make more sense.
Well, I don't know, people call and they say, what's it look like? How nice is the trail? Is it in the cornfields? Oh, no, it's beautiful. It's trees. You can. So I know people are interested in what it looks like and what they could do. So in the Limestone's not going to change in the next year or so. So I don't know. I advocate doing the Limestone because it's very popular and people want to see it. And we have outer spatial that you can go to in the trails and you can click and see it.
So can you make a similar defense for Detmer? Because
Oh,
you can stand in one spot at Detmer and see all the amenities.
Well, the thing,
You have to go there.
Yeah.
Oh, we want people to go there.
and the thing is that.
You're not gonna go there if they don't.
Yeah.
But to piggyback on what Kevin is saying, we want people to go there, that's true, but I can tell you almost every day, people call me and they want to reserve a shelter at Karst or, you know, Flatwoods, and they're all booked up, and I say, what about Detmer? Have you thought about Detmer? Oh, well, I don't know where that's at, I've never been there. I think Detmer is so underutilized just because people don't know that it's there. I think if we could add it to the list and people, oh, there, I didn't know there was a park there, what's it look like? I think that there's a benefit there. I mean,
It's nice looking.
Because it's
Yeah,
a
it's a
beautiful
great
little
trail.
park.
it's great.
People don't know it and
Right.
I don't know, I think it'd be a great thing. I know I would click on it to say, oh, oh my gosh.
Yeah, but I think you're
You know, there's a pond, there's a garden.
That's all right. I just raised the idea that we didn't need to do it all at once.
Well, it wouldn't occur to me to ask you, what does it look like? It just wouldn't occur to me.
And people do, they're like,
What
oh,
they do.
I've never heard of Detmer, where's that
Nobody
at,
knows
what do
where
they
it's at.
have, you know,
You
what's
say-
there, yeah. And honestly, Detmer's a beautiful place for a wedding. That large group shelter is big enough to house, you know.
We had our
that's-
anniversary, or our wedding,
Yeah, it's a
movies and
beautiful-
celebration there, and we all have fun, and probably 2/3 of the people had no idea.
Didn't know where-
Yeah, nobody does.
I'm always surprised that the calls I get from people.
And there, and I'll just say Jeff McKim, God bless Jeff. He takes his drone out once in a while and he has flown some of this and we have seen some of this and it's exciting. I mean,
There's already a couple of drone
Yeah.
videos on YouTube of Flatwoods, like that just individuals have done that are awesome to watch. You know?
And Jay Sunseeker did one for Karst, and he just did off his bike,
Oh, yeah,
that I sent to John.
he lives next door to
And
me.
what were the rules about cars flying?
Well, there are certainly particulars to flying at Cars Farm Park because it's so close to the airport. There are certain restrictions. I think in the last couple of years, since drones have become much more popular and utilized for commercial purposes, the process of getting permission is easier. But this does coincide fairly well with the fact that the airport will be shut down for 2 weeks at the end of August for maintenance, so their airspace will be usable.
And
for
John's been working with the airport director on this 2 weeks
a couple
downtime.
of things.
So this might be our opportunity to, yeah, jump on Cars Farm Park and get that subscribed.
Who came up with the length of the videos?
So this was, the length of the video has to do with the amount of call outs that are included in that video. And again, the call outs are just text that highlights certain features in the park. So the 2-minute video generally correlates with the 5 to 10 call outs as you see on here. Now, another option is a 30-second video. But from what I've gathered in working with this gentleman, the amount of call outs that are requested, it's tricky to include that many in a 30-second video.
Okay, well, I guess and maybe that answers my question. I'm sure it does. But I look at Cars Farm package and Will Detmer package, and they're both 2-minute videos. And I'm thinking Will Detmer is like 1/10 the size of Cars Farm Park with a lot less activities. Why are they substantially the same length video with perhaps more call outs to go with it? I know the price is a bit higher for Cars Farm package, a park package, but say that the park, the difference in the size of the parks is tremendous.
And there is certainly some flexibility there in the amount of time that the video is shot and the price. So if we wanted to go with a shorter video, less call out for a smaller park.
I would make a request that we get some input on this quote from Jeff McKim and anybody else that's a knowledgeable drone user as to, well, since we didn't get 3 quotes, I assume these are good prices, but I have no way of knowing.
Now, one thing with the Cars Farm Park, when's the airport closed? Because this might be critical.
The end of August.
Okay, so it will get more difficult when the airport is operational to do this. Not that it'll be
The
impossible.
airport's closed.
It'll be closed for 2 solid weeks, and John's working on a recreational program to go to the airport.
About next week, weekend.
So, John, does it impact the ultimate outlay if we improve the the 2 Cars Farm Park, or the Greenway and Park? Because the airport's going to be closed, and can we come back and revisit this maybe with,
I think
seems like an.
the tricky part is that there's a discount to this number of videos. So if we were to elect to do 2, for example, instead of 4, the price for those 2 might be a little bit more expensive, and I'm just not entirely sure what the price would be.
And I'm also considering that significant amount of this price is probably editing and putting the video together as opposed to shooting the drone footage, which is probably the difference between the prices is the actual cost of the drone shooting as opposed to all the technology that goes to putting the video and everything else together.
And what John also told me is that people's attention usually doesn't go past 2 minutes.
Yeah, you don't want anything.
Yeah, you
No
would go
one's,
longer.
yeah, this isn't your wedding. You're looking at it.
Most people don't want that.
So yeah, short videos to get what you want.
What would be the chances, like tomorrow, we call it, Jeff? Yeah.
Well, I can contact him tomorrow.
Just to ask you, these sound reasonable, you, Jeff, or not? Sure. As Kevin says, we don't have any idea. Nobody has any idea.
Right, and the reason, to be honest, the reason that I've worked with this individual is just because I know he's well established in the area, and I've seen the.
I guess I'm not as concerned about the cost, is just knowing what the price gonna be, because this example is for apartments, not for a park, and I don't know, I'm not grasping the breadth of what this can do for us in terms of letting people know what we have in the way of services or facilities in our parks. And maybe if I saw one just for parks, or if I saw the Cars Farm Trail one and the Cars Farm Park one, I could feel a little more comfortable with it.
You should get on YouTube and search Flatbush drone footage and watch that video, because I tell you, if you watch that video, you're gonna want that done in every one of the parks.
Who did that
It
one?
was just some random person with a drone, I think, out there. It's a cool video.
Now, John, didn't you also say that Cars Farm Greenway, they can hold off until we're open?
Yeah.
So it'll be nice.
Yeah, I want
Everything
everything,
nice.
the trailhead, the railroad crossing to be done before that's.
And he could get that footage when the airport's closed at Cars Farm Greenway Trailhead, then he could edit it to, you know,
And the other issue in terms of timing, now that we brought that up, is would this be better to do when the leaves are off the trees so you can see more things, or is it better to do it? Well, with one prettier. With
Yeah, it's-
I think it's
color.
Very fall, better.
Yeah, he did. And typically on like a greenway, what you see is, so you'll get a good shot of the trailhead and everything that's there. They'll pan up, so they'll look straight down, pan up, they'll come back down, and then it's at eye level or a little bit above as you're going along the trail. It's not above the tree.
You're not looking way down.
Or there may be some portions where there are, like if you can see the trail, like at the
Well,
bridge.
with the Limestone Greenway, there's so much canopy, you couldn't have it very high and see
Yeah.
much of the trail.
Did Jeff McKim do the other video for? There's two videos of Flatwoods online, and one of them's actually tagged as Monroe County Parks and Rec. Was that Jeff? McKim?
That's the one, so that was the geological
oh, yeah, we have IU,
group.
Indiana University.
Yeah, they
comes
came out and flew a drone and they said that I could use the video.
That's right. And then there's one more on there that was done like 7 years ago.
I'm not sure, that probably.
That was just some random person.
But yeah, as Dr. Carolyn mentioned, I think a lot of the price is creating not just the footage, but creating, editing and creating call outs.
So is there money in county general for this?
Yeah, this was coming out of printing and advertising.
Well, the other thing is that with the different greenways, I would think it'd be interesting to interface it that the Cars Farm Greenway is where it's at, and then it interfaces with Bloomington, and then further south is a limestone. And it would be interesting to me as a user to know that I can go from Ellisville to south of Bloomington and see the interface through all of it. And instead of breaking it up into chunks.
Okay, I think I know what you're saying.
And then the other thing is out of Flatwoods, including the walk path out there in addition to the playground.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
Area.
that might be of interest.
Yeah, it'd be the whole park, yeah.
So where are we? I'm hearing a lot of all over the map.
Well, we could certainly, if we were going to prioritize, I think that the two most important ones would be Cars Farm Park and the Cars Farm Greenway. If this is something that we want to do, period. So bulk discount is $300 for the 4 videos. I think the price of these videos is the same. So the price would be the same of each, but the bulk discount was applied because we had 4. So I think that if we wanted to test the waters, try Cars Farm Park and Cars Farm Greenway for those two prices. I'm not a mathematician, so I have to add them. But I think that would be adequate.
I mean, we could inquire whether we could get 150 discount for the two that we do now, and if we do two other later, get 150 discount. Just do it in two parts. If they'll do that, I mean.
Sure.
The main thing is just so we can just kind of get a feel for what it is we're getting and its usage, and it seems reasonable to me that they would not object to that they.
No,
Like
they-
a good product.
Yeah.
That they would be willing to give us a discount in a two-stage purchase arrangement as opposed to doing all four projects at once. It's worth asking, but I also want Jeff Kim's input about this, if we can get it in a timely way.
So this quote is already more than 10 days old. And it says it's
Valid for 30.
valid for 30.
I'm guessing it won't change significantly next month. Like next year, but probably it's pretty.
You're gonna have to do the Cars Farm Park next week, not next year, unless you're gonna wait till next year.
I think that this guy can get permission to fly around the airport later if he needs to. I think would just be, the process would be a little bit easier while it's closed.
If you do as Kevin said, the two Cars Farm packages and $150 would, well, I added it actually instead of subtracting, so that would be $12.98.
Well, I would presume we're gonna get the discount broken up into two, but it's worth asking for. I don't think $300 is worth rushing to do all four without really knowing a better familiarity with the product. So I guess in making my suggestion, if we don't get a discount, I guess that's too bad in my view. I'd like to see two first projects done sooner and the others have a chance to evaluate.
I could even make a case for doing 3 projects and not doing the limestone.
That's what I would
A
suggest.
mile and 6, and it's all canopy, almost all canopy. And what is there to say?
Well, in the limestone, you'd be under the canopy.
Well, I know, but I mean,
It's
it's
like hit high or something, you know, whatever. But the advantage of doing Detmer is that it is the part that nobody knows about.
Exactly.
Really need to do a better job of,
People take the limestone to City Parks Trail.
yeah, well, there's that.
That's the big thing that you would get by doing that one.
Well,
Distinguish
but what
that
difference
as
is, I
your own
mean,
Trail and not the cities.
Yeah, but I don't know that makes so much difference.
we're not renting anything, we're not getting any revenue from the limestone. If people are using it, which they are in great numbers, then it's not something that's underutilized, so we don't. There's no urgency getting that publicity. If the Detmer package will help us rent shelters, and we're not renting them now, I'm okay with that one too.
is there a motion?
If we,
Try it.
well, it's gonna be a motion.
Okay,
Because
all
when I
right.
get done talking.
Okay.
That's my motion. I just added up the Cars Farm Park plus Cars Farm Greenway plus Will Detmer Park. Adds up to $2,097. My motion would be is to approve those 3, if you'll give us the $300 discount on that package.
I'll second.
That is contingent upon Jeff McKim's.
Yeah, and if Jeff indicates reservations, let's put it on hold and discuss it again.
He thinks these are reasonable, we'll go for it.
Can you get this arranged with this fellow by next week?
I will try my best.
So the motion is to approve the JCL aerial services for videos for Carson Farm Park, Carson Farm Greenway, and Wildett Park.
Right.
For
Total of
1,099.
2,097. And a $300 above discount off of that. To make it 1,797. In other words, Sean just go ahead and agree to give us a discount on just 3 and 4 things.
that's what John's gonna have to do.
Right. John, go. He said that. John said he knows
I'm
you guys.
just gonna have to tell them that, yeah, that's what we're willing.
And if that's the way to, that's no problem because we don't want this stuff done till everything's done anyway.
So I have a motion. Is there a second? I'll second it.
I thought I already did.
Oh, I'm sorry. You did. I'm sorry. All right, yes. Well, that was before we messed with it again, so.
Oh.
Any further comment? Jamie?
Carol? Yes. Evelyn?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Carolyn? Yes. Kevin?
Yes.
Bill?
Sure.
I like that. Motion passes. We're running late here, folks, and yeah. So are there roof and gutter issues at maintenance building that need to be discussed today?
We just want to bring it to your attention that probably between $30,000 and $35,000 of work will need to be done to the Cars Farm maintenance building. But we're holding off until county council looks at our request for $50,000 for the caretaker's house. So if they do that, we'll come back to the park board to say, okay, here's this next project.
All right, thank you. Thank you. That was short and sweet.
Are those issues just briefly surprises, or is this something that we kind of don't provide?
Well,
Age.
small drips have been happening, but as of more recently, we lost part of the gutter on the north side of the building because the wooden side decided it didn't want to hold the gutter up anymore. And over the past 10 or so years, it's the original roof from '96 that was put in with nails, back then they used nails with rubbers instead of screws.
Yeah.
And so it's to the point now where the 2 caulk jobs on it, every nail on that roof has been caulked multiple times. And the caulk's not doing its job.
Okay.
So you'll come back after we learn about the house. Okay.
If the council approves the house, then that leaves us in a better situation. Thank you.
96, wow, 1996.
Yeah, I was thinking it was 96.
Okay. Board secretary nominations. That one took me by surprise. So is there someone who would not mind serving as secretary for the board? Which means that, you correct me if I'm wrong about this. You sign off on what is prepared by the staff.
The minutes, you sign the minutes.
Yeah,
after the,
normally that's Jane.
it's not too taxing.
We have some very good people reviewing the minutes that don't include myself and my volunteer. Yes. So I'm hinting.
Why are you looking at me?
Someone will nominate.
I'm trying He's trying not to make eye contact with the people he's talking.
Kevin's volunteering.
No, I'm not. I'm saying I'm not the one who is meticulous about correcting the minutes.
Oh.
I don't think you've gotten very many correct.
He's done a really good job.
At all.
It's like-
Well, actually, just for clarification, the minutes come to me first. And I go over them to look for stuff. Sometimes it's grammar, sometimes it's a sentence that didn't have an ending to it. What happened to that? Little stuff like that. Not necessarily content. But so I have, and I still, of course, miss things that other eagle eyes do find. So I'll just go out and say it, because, you know, Jason. Being coy, Kevin's being coy. Bill, would you serve as secretary? Oh.
Or Carolyn, either one for that.
Or Carolyn, well, Carolyn's already, aren't you on the foundation board? What's your job there?
I'm currently treasurer. Of the foundation.
Treasurer.
So it's anyone, but
I have been secretary of that. organization.
Well, he's vice president, she's president.
Yeah, we knew you.
It's anyone but us.
I'm a neophyte.
It's not a different job.
Carolyn, are you volunteering?
I will do it if Phil won't, but I.
Oh, is it?
Make a very good secretary. But if
You
you
don't
don't
have
want
to
to do it, I will do it.
Just to test that so basically after the meeting, Amy would just sign the page saying that the minutes were correct from last month, including the corrections from everybody else. So you don't necessarily have to proofread anything. You just have to attest that they were approved during the meeting. Big
So-
job, Phil.
I walked out the door and Amy says, don't volunteer to be the secretary.
I'd say, Carolyn, would you do it, please?
I will go back to being secretary. If
Everybody
really does not want to do it.
So we have a nomination of, well, actually, we have two, we have. Carolyn has graciously nominated herself to serve as secretary, and I would second that nomination. Because of her vast experience, Bill, you being a neophyte. Yeah.
I'll groom him for next year.
Thank you.
Amy would say that I do need grooming.
Do we need to vote on that?
Yes, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I don't normally do this. Obviously, I try to stay out of the middle, but I move that Carolyn Vanderwild accept the or be the secretary for the Parks and Rec Board.
Second.
Comments? Roll call.
Emily,
Yes.
Joe.
Yes.
Carolyn,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Phil,
Yes,
Carol.
Yes. Motion passes, and thank you
thank you.
for the hard work that you're going to be doing as secretary.
When they really tell you, the Prince, that was secretary.
Oh, here's the pages, here you go.
All right.
So the next item is
Nominating Amy to the foundation.
well, Amy has been on the she was serving on the foundation in light of her job as extension office, and she's no longer there. So, but she is more than willing to continue to serve as a citizen on the foundation, and has said so.
Is there an opening for citizens slot?
Yes.
Okay,
It does not have the limitations that our board has.
okay.
So the extension agent, I know by statute goes on the park,
Yes.
but not on the foundation.
Correct.
Foundation is statutory. Is Amy on the foundation board now?
She's the president, yes.
The president, yes.
She would like to remain as a citizen member, which we do have a slot.
Well, that's not my point. My point is she's not a citizen. She is a citizen member now.
No, she's not. She was on the foundation as a Parks Board member.
Appointee.
Appointee from the Parks Board.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now we have to reapprove her as a member and citizen, and then replace her as. Parks Board.
Everybody on the board is an appointee of the Parks Board, but there are appointees representing the Parks Board amongst the entire board.
Correct. Exactly. Well said.
So what do we need?
A motion.
Motion to nominate Amy Thompson as citizen appointee to the MCP Bar Foundation Board.
Yes.
And I will second that.
Moved and seconded to appoint Amy Thompson as a citizen member of the Monroe County Parks and Rec Foundation Board. Comments, questions?
Joe?
Yes.
Carolyn?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
And Evelyn?
Yes. And her position here will be filled by her replacement. What?
I'll let you finish. No, what we're going to need is someone from the park board to fill her spot on the foundation board. It does not have to be,
Yeah, Sue,
it does not have to be a Purdue person. It just can't be you and it can't be you.
because we're already up.
I think you actually felt about two different things.
Oh, sorry.
She's really, Kelly's specifically referring to item eight.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were talking.
But item H does not have to be the person from the extension agent.
Correct.
representative. It can be anybody of this park. Right.
Yes. Sorry. I
What's
was
on there now?
Evelyn and myself.
And now Amy.
But Amy
And
as a
Amy is a
citizen.
citizen and Leah Cisco is a citizen.
So,
But who are the other members?
Dr. Casper.
I'm sorry,
Kelly,
Doctor, oh yeah.
Dr. Casper, and Leah Cisco.
what's her face from Ellisville?
Yes.
Who
Lisa Cisco.
Lisa's sister.
Or is it required to have three park board
Yes.
members?
Well, that's,
Yes.
I did not know that.
Well, required, but it's in the bylaws that there can be 3 from your board, which we suggest highly. You are on the foundation board because of your president. You are because they voted for you.
Because I was,
So we have one more spot open.
I will do it.
Oh,
Well, I was interested.
oh gosh, what?
Secret ballot.
So either one.
well, since Kevin's been on the park
Oh,
longer than I have.
it's totally up to you all.
Well, let me just say my reason for it and nothing to suggest any criticism of current members of the foundation, but I've always felt that the foundation could do more to raise money for projects, and I kind of like to be more involved in the inner workings to see how viable that would be.
That's exactly the same reason.
Okay, fine. If that's your goal, then I.
So
You did. Now, good news, we might have another nomination for a citizen, just so you know, Margie Rice in the future may want to also be on the board as a citizen. Has nothing to do with this, just so you all know.
all that I was going to say about item G is that the extension agent replacement on this board may be a while, because the Purdue hiring system is archaic.
Although Amy thought that perhaps it would be quicker than normal, but. Or at least the process would be quicker to send out the job, but
That would be a miracle.
but that doesn't mean that, you know,
Yeah.
the wheels don't
So-
start slowly.
So moving then on down to item H, and just because no, my husband's waiting on me somewhere. I don't know where he is.
I'll make a motion.
Go.
I'll make a motion to appoint Kevin Dolan as a Monroe County Park Board member to the Monroe County Park Recreation Foundation Board. Second.
Moving and second to appoint Kevin Logan to the foundation board. Comments? Jamie?
Carolyn?
Yes,
Kevin?
I abstain.
Bill?
Bill?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
Evelyn?
Yes.
Yep.
Motion passed.
Good. Yes, I only
Get ready.
You did what?
they vote when you vote to pass it. Go ahead. Sorry. You're in a hurry.
I hurry.
We don't do this, you're right.
And I'm thinking, how difficult fundraising is for a board, which there are on a rule, 4 people in the foundation meets. That's about it.
I'm happy to
to
serve
find some
too.
more citizens. I'm sorry. Carolyn,
To find some more citizen members.
well, but not today, because today I have to get out.
Well, why don't we just say we don't have any questions about the financial report? Get out of it.
Or just maybe if there are any questions about that.
Are there any questions about the financial reports? I'm looking over the maintenance reports. Oh, down here, I'm sorry, on page 56, I just have to say this because of the master gardener, and down here at the bottom about Duckworth Pond and spraying the Bradford pear trees with an herbicide to get rid of them.
Oh, yeah, come down glyphosate stumps,
Sorry, what?
glyphosate, Roundup, spray the stump with it.
To get rid of them.
Yeah, because if you don't, a lot of the trees, just pop, sprout back up, some won't, but Bradford pears are the worst about it.
They're calorie pears, they need to be eliminated
But-
everywhere.
Yeah, and that's what we spray them, cut them and then spray them. They're the worst trees in the world, all them thorns, oh my
Regardless of
God.
that, they are invasive and they are ruining the roadside environment. Good job.
They're pretty rough.
Any other questions?
They're zero.
Sorry, I'm in such a hurry, but I. No more questions. Is there a motion to adjourn? Second? Sorry. Here, sorry to rush you all, but.
You're. No.